What's up? Welcome to Weed Glob Show. It's your boy Weed Glob or Jared again. I don't really give a shit. So last week I did like kind of a piece where I talked a little shit about the completionist. That was all right. I had a lot of fun, but I didn't know that he released an apology. There was a lot I honestly didn't really see. I've never liked this guy. I don't like a lot of the, upper echelon of the video game media sphere. I think they're all full of shit, and most of them are just like ad space guys, right? Like, anyways, that's beside the point. But our homeboy, the completionist, guy who kind of has a similar name than me, Gerard. My name is Jared, so I have more of a gripe here than most. He came out with one of those things. It's not an apology. It's his response. And that's what the video is called. It's called My Response. And so I wanted to take some time and get into it with you. We can go over it, watch a little bit of it, and then talk some shit. So let's freaking go. Weed Glob Show. Let's start the video. Okay, my gosh.
Over the past few weeks, allegations have been made against me, my family, and our charitable organization, the Open Hand Foundation,
facts,
asserting
not just
charity fraud
accusations.
And more. I'm here today to provide clarity and transparency to set the record straight.
Ooh.
I want to make it 100% clear. At no point in the Foundation's history was there any criminal or financial fraud. None. I also want to touch on why I've been quiet for these last few weeks.
Okay.
A lot of folks have been saying that if I didn't do anything wrong, that I should have said something sooner, or that my conversation with the accusers was considered my full side of the story. But when there is allegation after allegation being made, it takes a long time to gather the evidence and facts to refute claims. This will be my only...
I will say, when somebody does come up with false accusations, you still have to come up with your own receipts. It sucks, but it is what it is. I just got through something myself kind of like that. You got to come with them receipts and be like, here you go. And they're like, oh, that's fine. Again, if you're innocent or honest, you would go, give me a second. I have all the receipts. Let me show ya.
As of Wednesday, November 29th, 2023, the Open Hand Foundation has donated $600,000 to the Association for Frontotemporal Degeneration. However,
because of what?
It did take too long to get to this moment.
10 years.
And for that, I am sorry.
Ooh.
The money is now in good hands to make a lasting impact. In 2018, I took two things I'm passionate about, indie games and charity work, and started IndieLand to highlight the indie game community and raise money in honor of my mom for a good cause. During several recent IndieLand events, press interviews, and podcasts, I went on record saying where the money was going to and that the Open Hand Foundation had worked with various organizations. At different points, the foundation had been in communication with or considered several of them, but it was not appropriate for me to make such statements when final actions had not yet been taken. The Open Hand Foundation's goal was to make a large impact by donating the money to the right place. And a lot of the conversations
we just didn't know what that place was yet.
Organizations involved the funds not being restricted or came with extremely high administrative costs. Look, any way you say this, action needed to be taken. And to that point, I'm sorry. Most importantly,
he's gonna cry.
I want to apologize to anyone who ever donated over the years.
Dude, he's
who
crying.
Felt they were wronged or led astray by any of this. Dementia is an incredibly important cause to me and my family,
bringing us back,
and so many of you at home. Advocating for more awareness has been such an important part of keeping my mother's memory alive.
Jesus Christ. I mean, we are 5 minutes into this. 5 minutes. He has denied, also accepted, though, that it was happening, but denied still, right? Like, I really didn't have anything to do with this. My dad would do golf tournaments, but they were really not about the charity. You're like, so it was a a group of people who created a golf tournament that was in the name of this kind of, really terrible thing that happens to people in the name of that, but it wasn't a charity event. But it was a tournament that people paid for, and they maybe assumed that their money that they paid to get into the tournament would go to a charity, I'm assuming. If I was, a part of something that was like, this is for, American Red Cross, and then you're like, oh, that's a dumb thing, right? It would be, if this is for cancer, breast cancer, and then none of the money goes to breast cancer, they're like, no, that was just the name of the thing. Like, that still feels like fraud, right? That's just his dad. He had nothing to do with that. His own thing, And then he kind of quivers and cries. And then he makes us feel bad again for the terrible disease that his mom had, which is like, no one's saying that's not happening, but you're also not talking about the fact that it took Mudahar and this other homie to find out that you hadn't given any money. To find out that you weren't doing this. And only when pressured did you finally donate, which is like good, great, grand. But then you're making excuses on why not because of maintenance of some because you're paying your board? Is that what's up? Wow, all over the place, Mr. Completionist. As a guy who completes video games, this game you are failing at. My God, just be like, listen, we were so busy on building the next charity that we forgot, or something. None of it's really good, but we're going to get into the nitty-gritty, the bells and whistles, the ones and zeros of what made the completionists have such a hard time here. And maybe we can understand. I don't know why I'm talking like. Maybe we can understand why, he committed this kind of fraud over a long period of time, and using things people love, indie games and charity, to boost his own image and brand into the forefront, becoming the mainstream gamer guy that he is. Only to be like, yeah, you're just like every other asshole, huh? All of your commentary on games seemed fake anyways. If you listen to it, you're like, this guy, first off, I think he hates himself, but goddamn does he not enjoy video games. Also, my love of indie games.
I will also have, this is one of the big reasons as to why the donation took so long. The organization did not raise enough money to make the impact that would allow the funds to be restricted and avoid those high admin costs. Now, let me walk you through the finances.
Admin costs? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Revenue sources for the foundation include direct and indirect public support, the golf fundraiser revenue, and IndieLand revenue. The foundation's expenses include costs for the golf fundraiser and IndieLand.
Oh, so there was a golf fundraiser. He didn't have anything to do with it, but he was on the board, but he had nothing to do with it.
$178,951.17 worth of expenses over the last 9 years. It's also factually inaccurate that all the money the foundation received in 2023 is unaccounted for. For starters, the Tiltify campaign for IndieLand raised just over $64,315.95. After platform and processing fees, we received $61,303.33 from PayPal and Tiltify's credit card processor Stripe. Adding the $15,000 sponsorship donation to the initial estimate income for IndieLand 2023 equates to $76,303.33. This does not include merchandise, bits, or subscriptions from Twitch. However, there are real production costs when it comes to running this event.
Yeah, but that's not what you're saying too. You know what I mean? Now this guy's making excuses for why it's okay that this money went away. You know what I mean? And that's where the fraud comes in here, my guy. This was the fraud, because you say on multiple streams, multiple times, all bits, subs, all this shit go to the charity, go to the people. It's not about, you're doing it because you personally make money not on the charity on your own, which you would assume that you were donating your costs, your time, your money to the cause, and it was being offset. You weren't talking about any of that shit. If that's how you started it all, that's fine, but that's not how you did any of it, which is where the fraud comes in, right? Because you didn't tell anyone those things, and now you're saying, oh, there's a lot of overhead into running the charity, and we have to use that. Okay, so you didn't spend any of the money, and already you just said in one charity bump, you made over $75,000. And I'm pretty sure you only donated $60,000 over the past, since 2018, right? So where did all the other money go? Insane. I love watching people that think they're more intelligent than the rest of us try to convince you of something when you're like, no, we already got you, though. No, but here's why. This is why, though.
Appearance fees, supplies, food and catering, costs of good for merchandise, etc. All of that totaled just under $12,000.
Okay.
This is still an outstanding invoice, as not everything has been received or paid yet. Income from Twitch subscriptions and bits, along with merchandise, have offset some of the production costs. So to say the money is missing is simply wrong.
Whoa.
Also, to be clear, IndieLand does not make money on YouTube. We typically stream only on Twitch. And when we did simulcast to YouTube, we made little to no money.
Okay, you cannot say that you have nothing to do with YouTube, but then you did do it on YouTube, but you didn't make that much money. It was little to no money we made on YouTube. So it's really, the money's not much. It's not much. It's not that much money that was made on that one. But also we didn't do it. Also, we didn't even do it, though. But it wasn't that much money. But also we didn't do it. So also we didn't do it, but at the end of the day, it was like, it's not that much, man. It wasn't even that good, okay? It wasn't even that good. This guy is so full of shit, it's insane, bro. The fact that people were eating up the words that he was telling you about video games and when to buy something. And I just heard that the video game he was just in, he was taken out of. That beautiful indie game that won Best Indie Game of the Year, Sea of Stars, he was taken out of. And rightly so, because what a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, you got caught, bro. And you're going to get more fucked, I feel like, the more this goes. Like, because everything, you are in this thing both saying you didn't do it, but here are the reasons why you did do it. That's everything I'm getting. And then also links. Also, I got a shit ton of links, guys. Down below, I have a link to the IRS, just in case you didn't think I knew what taxes were, okay? Down below, baby.
And the interesting thing about the money the golf tournament raises is that it seems to disappear. Fans of the completionist who rushed out to defend him tried to claim that because Gerard hadn't spent the money, it wasn't stolen. From 2014 to 2017, filings showed the Open Hand Foundation received between $30,000 to $60,000 per event. This is likely underreported.
In 2019, the foundation reported $123,816 in revenue, but the accusers alleged that $14,000 is unaccounted for. Our books do reconcile, and these accusations are the result of bad math and missing information. The 2019 IndieLand's net proceeds were $82,409.19, and when combined with $31,371.55 in revenue from the golf tournament and $10,000 from a direct supporter, it adds up to $123,780.74. To insinuate that there are further issues with 2020 and 2021 tax returns, people forget that there was a pandemic that shut the world down. The golf events are generally scheduled in the springtime when the weather is good for outdoor events. However, when the foundation had to delay the event, the only available dates weren't until November of 2021. Not only did the foundation take donations and sponsorships that had already been paid for 2020 and roll them towards 2021, but not everyone was comfortable being in public with bigger groups of people. So participation was drastically down, especially since the pandemic brought on a recession. Finally, Pledges and donations are not always collected at the same time of the event.
What?
It might take a few months to receive the funds, often rolling them into the following year's income. As for what the costs are to run an event like this, there are event organizers, venue expenses, crafts and catering, event dinners, support staff, production equipment, rentals, event branded merchandise, security, insurance, and more. Smaller events have smaller costs, and as the foundation scale the events, the expenses increase proportionally. There's talk of $125,000
Those are all the
being
things you
embezzled
need
for unknown admin purposes. Saying that we are fraudsters, that what we are doing is illegal and constitutes charity fraud, that we are using my dead mother's name to potentially embezzle money and steal is categorically false. I should have been more transparent about the money not being donated, and that's on me. But my family and I have not done anything illegal, not before then and not since, as the allegations that have been made with complete disregard for the truth of the matter. These allegations were made by individuals who self-admittedly aren't even financial or legal professionals.
He's getting mad.
These allegations are slanderous, and we believe we're done with selfish intent. They have directly jeopardized the safety of me, my staff, and my family, and that is not okay. I want to reiterate and specifically address that both the foundation and I have been accused of forgery, embezzlement, and charity fraud.
Yeah.
The allegations imply the foundation
Allegedly
forged tax returns because they weren't physical signatures on them when we e-filed them, or that we altered numbers to hide income or expenses. We can account for every single dollar received and spent in the last 9 years. We do not have anything to hide. And due to the overwhelming amount of people who have been instructed to file complaints to the IRS and Department of Justice, we understand an audit may be coming and we welcome it. Our legal and financial teams have assured us that we have done nothing criminally wrong or illegal. Any possible issues in our paperwork can only be described as clerical errors and are easily amendable. Content creators and influencers should be held accountable when faced with serious allegations. However, the narrative can get taken so far away from the truth that the court of public opinion supersedes fact. I recognize and take accountability for all of my actions. At the same time, I am not going to let my reputation be compromised by allegations that are not true. I own up to my part in this, but I will not be painted as someone who is a con artist and embezzler. I won't be someone whose name gets tarnished without putting up a fight. I owe it to my friends, my family, and myself to stand up to this situation right now.
Was that it?
I want to leave you all with how the Open Hand Foundation
he did a
got
hard
its name.
blackout.
My mom always had this saying that she and my dad would share with each other. An open hand is always full, meaning the more you give, the more you will receive. This has been imbued in my entire life and how I've lived. And if you followed my journey, you would know that's all I ever tried to do for my friends, my family, and my community. All I ever wanted to do was to share my legacy and give. Thank you all for listening, and I'll see you all very soon.
Thank you all so much for listening, and I'll see you very soon. All right, so that was it. That was what I would call a pretty bad response video from 8 days ago. That's what I would call. If I was going to categorize that into anything, it would just be a really bad response video from 8 days ago. And that's kind of it. That's kind of that. What did we get from this? Okay. It seems, more things are going to come out as I think time goes on with what's going on here. But, a big thing that he was going after because he doesn't have anything on a lot of the accusations that were made was, that he actually did file the tax things properly. But it's like you were also filed under one form of the tax group and then later you changed it. So when you were the first form, did you donate the 5% like you were supposed to annually? Or is that why you switched over to the other one? And then what? Yeah. You can't say that you didn't receive any money at all from it, but then also there was a lot of costs that had to be, like his time, his energy, all this other shit. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that that was awesome. It was pretty bad. I feel like that's okay. You know, is what it is, mate. Is what it is. You know, finally people are getting a little bit of what they've sowed. You know, somebody who says they're an ally, and then you see that they are not. They're a grifter. They're using that. It's like even in this thing, he brings up his mom, and that's really sad. But then where he uses that to push, like, you know, it just feels very written. It feels very calculated, but you know, the calculations are wrong. All right. So this has been another Weed Glob show. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I'll see you freaking later, kiddo. Ooh. Weed Glob. Shut